5 words in Chinese. I will tell you that my Chinese is a ghost. Wash my throat. A trident flower I tore from the ground long ago rootless. My Chinese is missing pictures in a photo album. The first day of preschool. A mouthful of useless characters, ancient taste buds, living out of existence, leaving the bitter aftertaste of a new language. My Chinese is something I must hide. I still remember my childhood bullies and the racist insults we threw at me. Made me ashamed to be who I was. Made me reject my Chinese identity. The pandemic has brought forth these feelings again with the displays of racism across the country. But I want to be able to say when somebody asks me, what kind of Asian are you? That I am not your typical Asian. A collection of poems featuring My Chinese by Athena Chu, What Kind of Asian Are You by Alice Deng, and Stereotypical Asian by Candace Shaw. My Chinese remembers yellow Perel hysteria, remembers Chinese Exclusion Act, remembers alienization, otherization, remembers being banned from this land, being treated as anything but. He remembers the clinking of metal to railroads as slaves brought this country together. My Chinese remembers. My Chinese forgets. If you ask me if I'm fluent in Chinese, I will tell you that my Chinese doesn't think it belongs here sometimes. My Chinese wonders why it is exotic, why you think fetishizing my culture is the same thing as loving it. My Chinese wonders why it is only beautiful if it is white enough. My Chinese wonders if it's white enough. My Chinese wonders why it is only a minority when it is convenient, wonders why massacres, mass exposures, game genocidal policies are missing from the history textbook. My Chinese wants you to know that it is not invisible. My Chinese wants you to know that it is not an accessory for you to wear. My Chinese wants you to know that it cannot be eaten and spit out. But even I forget sometimes. My Chinese settles for less than it deserves sometimes. If you ask me if I'm fluent in Chinese, I will tell you that my Chinese sits at the back of the class, knows the answer, but doesn't raise its hand. An intense fear of failure, a culture people are failing to recognize, but we aren't represented in government. But when you're Asian applying for jobs, colleges, applications, you're forced to find ways to stand out from the stereotype, because apparently nobody wants that. So he said to me, what kind of Asian are you? And I said back, well, that's a loaded question. What do you expect me to be? Because anyway you slice that egg roll, I'm pretty much what you want me to see. I've played many a fiery stereotype. People call Asians the model minority. We're associated with being smart and generally overachieving. Videos of amazing performers passed off with a, well, he's Asian comment that apparently explains everything. We're all upper middle class, make lots of money in big corporations. We go to top 100 colleges, score incredibly on tests, and have successful careers. We're heterosexual, complacent, and apolitical. We have small eyes and faces that white men sometimes find attractive. We're East Asian. We're Chinese, Japanese, Korean. We're the model minority. So what's the difference between Asian stereotype 1 and 2? Well, let me tell you about everything you want to know about my culture. Let me tell you what a monosyllabically singing, who is that girl I see? Let me tell you about Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee and how their blood related to me. Let me tell you about being so marginalized to the point of, oh, I can't really believe that's Asian. Let me tell you about the derogatory terms and origins of the words such as chink and cook. Let me tell you about all the things you don't want to know. Let me tell you about how the word chink comes from the clinking of metal to railroads as slaves brought this country together. Chink has a weakness in armor. Chink has a gap, crevice, or hole. Chink as in the slits they call our eyes. Or like how the zipper head down the street only got that name because of the way I saw the head split open was struck with assault rifles, or how jeeps ran over our corpses and someone clever thought that we were only good to unzip. Like how every time you lump an Asian person into one nationality, it's systematically making us assimilate into an America that we thought was better than our war-torn home. But every time you confuse me with some other nationality I might share similar features with, it's stripping away my individuality. If you ask me if I fluent in Chinese, I will take you to the grave where my Chinese lives. Here lies decomposing words. Here lies broken sentences and broken skeletons. Here lies rotting corpses and rotting cultures. And I still feel the shame of being Asian, the envy of blonde hair and blue eyes. I still remember thinking my skin is what I was worth. I still feel the ironwork in my bones grow stronger with every train of thought that passes by. I still feel pride. And I still feel heritage. And I still feel Chinese. And I still feel American. And I still feel